So journalism is that part of social activity which is concerned with dissemination of news and views about the society. So the modern journalism feeds five departments of mass communication. One is newspaper and periodicals, second radio, television, films, and fifth is advertising. So journalism it is a part of social activity जहाँ पे न्यूज and और सोसाइटीज के जो भी व्यूज है वो डिसैमिनेट किए जाते हैं, जो भी न्यूज है वो पब्लिक तक पहुंचाया जाता है और पब्लिक ओपिनियन जो है व्हाट इज द पब्लिक ओपिनियन वो गवर्नमेंट को डिसैमिनेट किया जाता है. सो दिस इज कंसर्न विद द जर्नलिज्म. So in journalism, we have five departments in modern journalism. One is newspaper and periodicals, then radio, television, films and advertising. So journalism is systematic and reliable dissemination of public information, public opinion, and public entertainment by modern mass media of communication. These are modern mass media communication: radio, television, films, newspaper. So ये मॉडर्न मास मीडिया कम्युनिकेशन यूज करके एक सिस्टमेटिक वे में पब्लिक इंफॉर्मेशन, पब्लिक ओपिनियन और पब्लिक एंटरटेनमेंट को डिसैमिनेट किया जाता है. So in modern society, journalism has become a media of mass education, providing supplementary education to students at all stages and to the general masses, educated and uneducated. So modern society में journalism एक education, mass education का भी काम करता है, जहाँ पे all stages of students को एक supplementary education मिलता है और जो जनरल पब्लिक है उन्हें, जो चाहे वो एजुकेटेड हो या अनएजुकेटेड, उनके लिए भी कोई इंफॉर्मेशन वो प्रोवाइड करता है. The all activities concerned with communication of mass media is not journalism, but the part of activity involving writing, preparation and production of communication message is journalism. जो भी मास मीडिया कम्युनिकेशन है वो सारे जर्नलिज्म में इंक्लूड नहीं होता, लेकिन जहाँ पे राइटिंग होता है उस कम्युनिकेशन मैसेज का राइटिंग, प्रिपरेशन और प्रोडक्शन होता है, तो उसे हम जर्नलिज्म कहते हैं. So thus essentially journalists are writers, authors, reporters, correspondents, editors, sub-editors, interviewers, story writers, script writers, scenario editors and allied specialists. So these all will come under the category of journalist. Next we will see the importance. Now mass media is capable, and we know that it is capable to reach vast audience within few seconds. So whenever we need to give some information, public information or public opinion, we want to spread it to a huge number of audience, that time we can use this mass media. The modern communication system reflect the philosophy and achievement of society in all spheres by fast flow and pave the way of homogeneity of culture, not only in its geographical unit but also beyond it. So whenever we have to communicate a good message or any message within few seconds, we want to spread it to huge audience. So that time this modern communication system has showed its importance. So journalism is publication of news, views on various aspects of human activities in newspaper and periodicals. Now modernly it is not only newspapers and periodicals but also on radio, television, in film or even in advertising. So with this way, the small issues which needed to be focused on, the focus has been given on such issues. So here importance is that we can, through journalism, the events or any occurrence of any event or any information which we have to pass on public, it has been easy. So this is the main importance of journalism. Then principles of modern journalism. The main function of journalism is to bring light to the people what its member feel and think. Journalist as therefore supposed to possess a good deal of intelligence. Journalism का main function क्या होता है? जो सही बात है उस पे फोकस करना. तो उससे क्या है, जर्नलिस्ट को एक क्या, he should be a good deal of intelligence, knowledge and experience as well as natural and trained power of observation and reasoning. So journalist has same obligations as a teacher or interpreter as an educationalist has. जितनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एक टीचर के ऊपर होती है कि वो राइट मैसेज अपने स्टूडेंट को टीच करे, उतने ही एक जर्नलिस्ट के पास ऊपर होती है वो राइट मैसेज, राइट इंफॉर्मेशन पब्लिक तक पहुंचाए. So journalist who misuses his power for any selfish or unworthy purpose is a huge thrust. So whenever journalists they misuse their power, so it will become a danger for the society. So while the freedom of press needs to be guarded as a vital right of humankind, it has to suffer certain explicit restriction to serve the social needs. यहाँ पे freedom of press, as the constitution has given the freedom of press that has to be guarded. Also they have to suffer many things to get the right information. So freedom of press does not imply promotion of any private interest of the journalist contrary to the general welfare. फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रेस का मतलब ये नहीं कि वो उस जर्नलिस्ट का प्राइवेट इंटरेस्ट क्या है उसमें वो ज्यादा फोकस करे, बल्कि जनरल वेलफेयर के लिए जो अच्छा है, जो न्यूज अच्छी है वो कम्युनिकेट होनी चाहिए, वो उन्हें देखना चाहिए. दैट इज द वे सो कॉल्ड न्यूज कम्युनिकेशन फ्रॉम सैंडरी सोर्सेज आर नॉट पब्लिश्ड बाय अ सेंसिबल जर्नलिस्ट. किसी के पास भी खबर आई, वो खबर वो ये नहीं है, जब तक वो उस खबर को वेरीफाई नहीं करते तब तक वो सेंसिबल जर्नलिस्ट ही वोंट पब्लिश दैट न्यूज विदाउट सस्टेनिंग देयर वैल्यूज एज न्यूज बोथ इन फॉर्म एंड सब्सटेंस. इन एडिशन, partnership in editorial comments which is knowingly based on lie does violence to the best spirit of journalism. Then rules that a journalist has to follow: first, he has to study the field, have an estimate of what type of article is published in newspaper, magazine, books, etc. Whatever field, on which field he is going to write, he has to study that field very thoroughly. Then he has to look for ideas, develop the idea, keep an unbiased mind. Journalist always he has to be unbiased. He cannot be biased towards any situation or any party. Write clearly and meaningfully. Remember the people to whom the articles are written. Write with the purpose. Write on timely subjects. Keep in touch with editors. Watch out for important event and occasion. Establish credibility, politeness, and do not assume familiarity, and understand the communication process and elements of communication. These are the rules that a journalist has to follow. Then next is agriculture journalism. Now agriculture journalism, it is a specialized branch of journalism which deals with the techniques of receiving, writing, editing and reporting farm information through the media like newspaper, periodicals, radio, television, advertising, etc. and management process of connected with such production. जहाँ पे हम एग्रीकल्चर इंफॉर्मेशन को रिसीव करते हैं, राइटिंग करते हैं, उसके बारे में एडिट करते हैं और वो डिसैमिनेट करते हैं, तो उसे हम एग्रीकल्चर जर्नलिज्म दे. इट इज टाइमली रिपोर्टिंग एंड एडिटिंग विद वर्ड्स एंड फोटोग्राफी ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर न्यूज and information. In short, we can say that agriculture journalism, it is dissemination of agriculture and news and information through newspaper, magazine, radio and television. So purpose of this agriculture journalism is first to inform, disseminate news and miscellaneous non-news items. So जब farmers को कोई information pass करनी हो तो ये purpose है. Then they may influence, giving the public either a social or commercial message. They may entertain, present futures, fictions, humor, comics and similar methods. So it is main purpose is first one is to inform, second is to influence and third is to entertain. Then we'll see the functions of journalism. First function is news function. The primary function of press is to inform. जो भी news है वो inform करे public को. This is the main function. So examining glut of public occurrence, ideas and situation, newspaperman must determine which will interest the public. Apart from factual presentation of news, for a complex situation, interpretation and explanation are also required. Then second is the opinion function. Now modern man frequently find himself in the mindset of confusion. Which product to purchase? See, this is a situation or what decision to take, whom to vote. So So he requires a medium of communication which will guide him to understand the positive and negative points of situations in a logical way. So modern press, what it will do, it will be like a daily teacher or a daily tribute where they will influence the opinion of the people, where they will tell the positive pros and cons of any situation, based on which the public common man, he can take his decision. Then third is the entertainment function. Entertainment function is entertaining the public is the another function and business of this journalism. So since it is too big a job for a local staff, newspaper rely upon syndicated material. That is, entertainment is where you find it. It pops up in human interest stories, news features, or some comics, various stories. So these are the entertainment function of journalism. Then we'll see the principles of farm journalism. Our purpose in writing is to communicate information. In extension, we write because we want to communicate that information. Therefore, our first consideration is our reader audience. If you are writing for a scientific paper, you should use vocabulary and style in different form what you would use when writing for a general public. Writing for a scientific paper and writing for a general public, the writing is different. So we have to understand this difference. So how clearly you can communicate information to average reader depends on how well you select the sift and sort your facts. So select the facts. First we'll see select facts. These are the principles. So first principle is select the facts. In that we have suitable subject matter. First select the suitable subject matter. Like, does it meet the need of the public? Is it right time to talk on that topic? Is it of current interest? Okay, then next is the readers. We should think about who are the readers, who are the people you want to reach this message, what are their problems, their interest and educational level, do they have environment and capacity to make use of this information. These are the questions you should think before writing any message, agriculture message or any sort of message. The purpose of publication, why you are publicating this information, what do you want to teach, what do you want to stimulate interest in a program, or do you want to influence people to do something. So these are the questions you should think before communicating any information. The next is the sift facts. The sift facts is essential facts necessary to give information clearly. So first point here, screen out the difficult concepts. जो कंसेप्ट बियॉन्ड द रीडर्स एक्सपीरियंस है वैसे फैक्ट्स को हम स्क्रीन आउट करेंगे. एग्जांपल, अ कॉमन फार्मर ही वोंट अंडरस्टैंड द कैलोरी वैल्यू or pH value. So such scientific big terms you have to screen out. Then give layman an application of subject rather than detailed explanation. If there is certain innovation or any machine, instead of giving detail of the working principle or any related to engineering term, if you give him the how we can use this machine, what are the benefits of this machine, then that will be easily understood by the public. Express in highlights. Do not try to impress the lay leader with all you know. Don't show him what you know. You tell him what is important for him to know. And do not document everything. Next is sort the facts. Arrange the facts in logical order. Set out the important points, that is 1, 2, 3, order them step by step. Guide the reader with attractive subheads and suitable illustrations and pictures. Then fourth principle is ABC of journalism, that is accuracy, brevity and clarity. Your information should be accurate, brief and clear. These are the fundamentals of good writing. And fifth is adopt the following tips for readability, that is short, it should be short sentence, clear meaning, simple in construction with few prepositional phrases and dependent clauses, simple words which are familiar and concrete words, and personal or human interest words. So these are the few things which we have to remember while writing some articles or any news articles. Then next new concept which is developing is photojournalism. It is a process of creating mental picture through the combined use of visual and verbal medium that would come about on a printed page. So creating a mental picture using visual as well as verbal medium. This is called as photojournalism. So elements are, it possesses a visual impact, defines the life in picture form, and it represents the reality. So these are the elements of photojournalism. Next, we will see the diffusion of innovation. This is our second topic of discussion today. Now, diffusion, the definition of diffusion is, it is a process by which an innovation is communicated through certain channels over a time among the members of social system. मतलब diffusion क्या है, एक communication process है जिससे innovation एक channel through over a time वो public तक पहुंच जाती है. So it is a special type of communication in that the messages are concerned with new ideas के बारे में यहाँ पे बात की जाती है. So elements in diffusion of innovations, we have 4 important elements. पहले तो innovation है जिसके बारे में diffusion होने वाली है, communication channels जिससे through innovation public तक पास हो जाएगी, third is the time, and fourth is the social system. So we'll see these elements one by one. Now first is the innovation. The definition of innovation is, it is an idea or practice or object that is perceived as new by an individual or other unit of adoption. ये innovation, ये idea रह सकती है, या practice रह सकती है, या object मतलब एक machine रह सकते हैं, tool रह सकते हैं, जो एक it is perceived as new, it is new to that individual. This is called as innovation. Now perceived newness of the idea for individual determines his or her reaction to it. मतलब वो न्यूनेस उस इनोवेशन या इस आइडिया के बारे में एक इंडिविजुअल में उसके रिएक्शन को डिटरमाइन करता है. The newness aspect of an innovation may be expressed in terms of knowledge, persuasion, or decision to adopt. In this context, to know about perceived attributes of innovation would be appropriate, which is described in below. So perceived attributes of innovation, first is the relative advantage. It is degree to which an innovation is perceived as better than the idea it supersedes. For a relative advantage में पहले for example seed treatment, if you take, first farmers were following specific seed treatment, then there is some change in innovation or new chemical, new chemical has been brought up which gives the better result. So the new chemical will be compared with the previous one, and the farmer will judge how better this new chemical is than the previous one. So degree of innovation, how better it is than the previous idea. The degree of relative advantage may be measured in economic terms, but social prestige factors, convenience, and satisfaction are also often the important components. Next is the compatibility. It is degree to which innovation is perceived as being consistent with the existing values, past experience, and needs to potential adopters. मतलब एक कंसिस्टेंसली वो न्यू इनोवेशन को कितने वक्त तक एग्जिस्टिंग वैल्यूज के साथ एक्सेप्ट किया जाता है. नेक्स्ट इज द कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी. इट इज डिग्री टू विच इनोवेशन इज परसीव्ड एज डिफिकल्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड यूज. जो एक न्यू इनोवेटिव आइडिया है वो अंडरस्टैंड करने की डिफिकल्टी लेवल कितनी है उसके ऊपर है कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी. So in general, new ideas are simple to understand, will be more adopted rapidly than the complex one. Then triability. It is degree to which an innovation can be experimented on limited bias. अगर एक idea एक small piece of land पे हम experiment कर सकते हैं तो उसमें adoption ज़्यादा होता है. बल्कि अगर एक innovation है उसका trial लेना बहुत ज़्यादा time consuming या money consuming है तो वहाँ पे थोड़ा एडॉप्शन टाइम जो है वो बहुत एडॉप्शन टाइम बहुत होता है. नेक्स्ट इज द ऑब्जर्वेबिलिटी. डिग्री टू विच रिजल्ट्स ऑफ एन इनोवेशन आर विजिबल टू अदर्स. सपोज एक डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन प्लॉट पे वो आइडिया यूज किए जाते हैं तो क्लियरली उस आइडिया इनोवेशन को यूज करने के बाद और यूज करने के पहले वो रिजल्ट्स विजिबल हो, कंपैरिजन के लिए इजी होता हो, एडॉप्शन रेट बहुत ज्यादा होता है. Then second element of diffusion of innovation is communication channel. So communication channel, we have seen already that it is the means by which message get transferred from one individual to another individual. Now, the classification of channel would help communicator to use them appropriately. Now, there are classification of communication channel. First is the interpersonal communication. Refer to those which are used for face-to-face communication between two or more individuals. face-to-face communication को हम जो channel use करते हैं तो उसे हम interpersonal channel कहते हैं. Mass media channel, when message reach to larger audience simultaneously, then this is mass media channel. Example, radio and television. Localite channel, they originate within the social system of receiver, that is message passed from neighbors, relatives or opinion leader, then that is called as localite channel. And cosmopolite channel, when the message they originate outside the social system, मतलब एक सिटी से एक एक्सटेंशन वर्कर आते हैं, वो मैसेज डिलीवर करते हैं, तो उसे हम कॉस्मोपोलाइट कहते हैं. विद इन द सोशल सिस्टम, मतलब गांव में ही एक इनोवेटर है या लोकल लीडर है, उससे मैसेज ओरिजिनेट होता है, तो उसे हम लोकलाइट चैनल कहते हैं. थर्ड एलिमेंट इज टाइम. इट इज द इम्पोर्टेंट एलिमेंट फॉर द डिफ्यूजन प्रोसेस, दैट इज how much time it has taken for adoption of that innovation. The time dimension is involved in diffusion, that is in innovation decision process, then in innovativeness of individual and innovation rate of adoption in the system. Next is the social system. It is defined, social system is defined as set of interrelated units that are engaged in joint problem solving to accomplish a common goal. So the members of this social system may be individual, informal groups, organizations, subsystems. So the social system, it constitutes the boundary within which the innovation will diffuse. Then we will see the innovation decision process. Now innovation decision process, there are 4 steps. Here we can see 5 steps through which our innovation will reach. First stage is knowledge, second persuasion, third is decision, fourth is implementation and confirmation. We will see these categories one by one. First, knowledge stage. In knowledge stage is when individual, he will come to know about the existence of innovation. He will get some knowledge that such kind of innovation is existed in the market. So in that again we have 3 stages: awareness, how to and प्रिंसिपल. अवेयरनेस मतलब जहाँ पे इंडिविजुअल को उस इनोवेशन के बारे में स्लाइट इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती है, उसका उस इंफॉर्मेशन पे फोकस हो जाता है. हाउ टू नॉलेज मतलब जहाँ पे once he knows about the innovation, he'll try to find out more about that knowledge, how that innovation will work, how that idea will is going to work, what are we have to do for working out, what are can we take the trial of this, what are the inputs needed. So he will try to gather the knowledge. And principal knowledge is functioning principle. For example, if there is any machine, how it is working, what are the principle involved in that innovation, so that he can judge whether this idea is going to work on his field or no. So this is the knowledge stage. Second is the persuasion stage. Persuasion occurs when individual he forms some favorable or unfavorable attitudes towards innovation. Knowledge gain करने के बाद वो अपना एक एटीट्यूड बनाता है या उसके बारे में एक ओपिनियन बनाता है उस इनोवेशन के बारे में, वेदर इट इज फेवरेबल फॉर हिम तो अनफेवरेबल. यहाँ पे उस परसेप्शन ही विल, इफ इट इज फेवरेबल ही विल स्टार्ट ऑफ थिंकिंग ऑफ whether I have to adopt it, if I have to adopt it, whether for which how much part I have to adopt that innovation, and he will start the information how I can adopt it. The next is the decision stage. In decision stage he will make the decision whether to adopt it or reject it. So he will make the full use of his information available with him, and then he will take a decision whether to adopt it for a small scale or whether to reject it. And last is the implementation stage, when actually that innovation he will use it fully, and innovation decision process will be strictly mental exercise, but implementation is the overt behavior where new idea will come actually in the practice. And problems of innovations are likely to be more serious when the adopter in an organization rather than individual. So he will start actually practicing it, that is the implementing stage. Then fifth is the confirmation stage. Confirmation stage is he will take the trial, he will see the pros and cons of that innovation, will make all the calculations, and later he will think whether we have to continue this in using of innovation, or he will discontinue. Now discontinuation decision to reject an innovation after having previously adopted, there are two types of discontinuance. One is replacement discontinuance and one is disenhancement discontinuance. Replacement discontinuance means decision to reject an idea in order to adopt one other better idea. And disenhancement means it is decision to reject an idea as a result of our dissatisfaction with its performance. So these are the two types of discontinuance. Then next we will see the adopter categories. Based on the how much time they will take to adopt, the adopters are divided into 5 different categories. So one is the innovator. Innovator is one who innovates the idea, or we can say venturesome. Then second is the early adopters. Third is the early majority. Fourth, late majority, and fifth is the laggards or the traditional. So when this adoption of innovation over times, if we follow the graph, it is normal bell-shaped curve when plotted over the time of frequency basis, and if cumulative number of adopters are plotted, it will result in S shape. So you can see here, if we plot the frequency with the time, it will be bell shape like normal curve, and on the cumulative basis, you will see the S shape. So both the curves are for same data, only difference is bell shaped of this data is the number of individual adopting each year, whereas S is the cumulative basis. So we'll see the categories here. Now if we see, compare it with the normal, this is the mean level of adopters. So innovators are 2.5% of total adopters. Then early adopters are 13.5%, early majority are 34%, late majority are 34%, and remaining 64% are the laggards. So we'll see one by one in details about this. Innovators, these are observers, they have that note the venturesome, that is they will develop some ideas, they will be eager, they will be interested. So the communication pattern and friendship among the group of innovators are common. So being innovator, they are the prerequisites, that is they will initiate some hazards. The silent value of innovator is ventureness. He desires the hazard as the rash and daring. He is ready to take risk. He will try different methods, and from that he will develop a good new idea. So characteristics is they have very large funds, high net worth and risk capital. They are willing to take risk, usually not past middle age, generally well educated, and have respect and prestige in progressive communities. They are not conservative type. They are mentally alert and they will be actively seeking new ideas. Their sphere of influence often goes beyond the community boundaries. They have many formal and informal contacts, often bypass the local extension, that is they'll be in contact with the local extension worker, they'll subscribe to farm magazine, they will be watching other farmers or innovators, they will be in contact with other innovators. So these are the characteristics. Then early adopters, these are respectable in the societies. So these are the one who, when they see that the innovative idea the innovators have developed has been successful, they will adopt it. So characters is younger than those of the slow adoption rate, but not necessarily younger than the innovators. They are not the person who test the untried ideas, but are the quickest to use the tried ideas. They won't develop their new ideas, but they are one who adopt the new ideas soon. They also have large farm, higher education, high income. They participate in more community activities. They also participate in government programs. This group usually furnish the disproportionate amount of formal leadership. They read papers, farm journals. They may be regarded as community adoption leaders. Next is early majorities, that is they are called as deliberate or local adoption leaders. They adopt new ideas just before the average number of social system. The average adopters से पहले थोड़ा वो adopt करते हैं, तो उसे हम early majority. So they interact frequently with their peers, but leadership position are rarely held by them. The early majority has unique position. between very early and relatively late. They are between them. They may be deliberate for some time before completely adopting a new idea. They are like be not the last to lay the old aside, nor be the first which the new is tried. So they are in between, not too early, not too late. Their characteristics is they are slightly above average in age, education, and farming experience. They take few more farm journals than the average. They have medium high school and economic status. Less active in formal groups. In many cases, they are not the formal leaders in association. They also extend extension meetings. They attend the extension meetings and demonstrations. They are likely to be informal resources than the early adopters. They associate mainly with the people of their own community. They value highly on the opinions of the neighbors and friends. They are mostly mentioned as neighbors and friends from whom the majority of farmers seeks the information. Last is the late, sorry, second last is the late majority. Once half of the average number of members have adopted some ideas, then they will adopt. They are known as skeptical. Characteristics is less education and older than early majority. They form the major part. They have take few leadership. They take or read fewer papers than the early majority, and they do not participate in many of the activities. And laggards are these are the traditional, the farmers who follow only traditional. They have a tradition barrier, that is they won't adopt the new technology, new innovation. They are against the new innovation, so they isolate themselves. Characteristics of these are least education, oldest, participate least in formal organization, and they hardly read any magazines or